definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross.
9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kevin Wallace.
That's good too. This is for Daddy. This is for you. What are you talking about? You're gonna watch. What? My ain't sucking themselves. Now you get down here.
America accepts the reality that a man is trapped in a woman's body than to believe that all black people are inherently.
Would you rather have a gay son or a daughter?
I would rather have 2 healthy kids. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
Kevin Hart recently announced that he fully supports the LGBTQ+ and transgender community. According to Hart, the backlash he faced over his past homophobic tweets served as a necessary wake-up call. He says he took the time to educate himself, reflect on his views, and grow as a person. Now he claims he wants to use his platform to support and uplift these communities. But is that really what happened? Or was this simply a carefully managed public relations move? Critics point out that this is the same Kevin Hart who once said his biggest fear as a father was having a gay son. Fast forward to today, and he says he would have no issue with it at all. So, has Kevin genuinely changed his perspective, or is he following a script? If you ask DL Hughley, the answer is clear. He believes it's the latter.
Guys, one of my biggest fears is my son growing up and being gay. But me being a heterosexual male, if I can prevent my son from being gay, I will.
I'm a little upset because I know who I am. I know I don't have a homophobic bone in my body. I know that I've addressed it. I know that I've apologized. I don't want to step on that stage and make that night about me and my past.
The timing, however, is what many people find interesting. Kevin Hart is no longer just a comedian. He's a brand. He has a production company, multi-million-dollar endorsement deals, movie franchises, and a growing streaming empire. Critics argue that he understands the cultural landscape of 2026 and knows that being openly anti-LGBTQ+ or anti-trans could damage both his reputation and business interests. Some observers point out that DL Hughley and Katt have been questioning Kevin's public image for years. Now, with Hart openly expressing support for the LGBTQ+ community, critics are asking whether this reflects genuine personal growth or a strategic shift. Between 2009 and 2011, Hart posted numerous tweets that many considered offensive toward gay people. One tweet referenced smashing a dollhouse over his son's head if he played with it. He also used slurs and made derogatory comments that later resurfaced and sparked controversy. The criticism wasn't limited to his social media posts. Similar themes appeared in his stand-up material. In his 2010 comedy special, Seriously Funny, Hart joked about one of his biggest fears being his son growing up to be gay, a routine that would later become a major point of public debate.
Asking would I think now in my career, I probably would, depending on what it was. I'm in a little more creative space than I was.
For years, that was the version of Kevin Hart the public knew. Then came the Oscars. In December 2018, Kevin Hart was announced as the host of the 91st Academy Awards, calling it the opportunity of a lifetime. But less than 48 hours later, he was no longer hosting. What happened? Shortly after the announcement, critics resurfaced Hart's old tweets, including the controversial dollhouse comment, the use of slurs, and other remarks that many viewed as offensive. Initially, Hart pushed back against the criticism. He argued that he had already addressed the issue, changed as a person, and felt that people were focusing too much on the past. However, within a day, his position shifted. Hart released a public statement writing, "I sincerely apologize to the LGBTQ community for my insensitive words from my past." To some observers, the sudden change raised questions about whether the apology was entirely voluntary or the result of mounting pressure. Others viewed it as a necessary acknowledgement of past mistakes. Either way, the controversy did not end with a single statement. In the weeks that followed, Hart appeared on multiple television programs and interviews, discussing the backlash, his past comments, and his support for the LGBTQ community. Supporters saw these appearances as evidence of growth and accountability, while critics argued they were part of a broader effort to repair his public image. The debate over Hart's motives has continued ever since, with some believing his views genuinely evolved and others remaining skeptical about the timing and circumstances surrounding his public transformation.
Hey, You cold?
Little bit.
CJ? What are you doing?
I just want to eat some penis.
Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes.
For some critics, the controversy didn't end with Kevin Hart's apology. They point to another shift in his public stance: his views on playing gay characters. Years earlier, Hart reportedly passed on the opportunity to portray the character Al Pacino in Tropic Thunder. When asked whether he would ever take on a gay role, Hart said he couldn't fully commit to it because of personal insecurities and felt he wouldn't be able to give the performance 100%. However, in a 2024 interview, Hart appeared more open to the idea, saying he would now consider playing a gay character, a change that reignited debate among his critics.
He already had his deals when he got here. You heard of a comedian that came to LA, and in his first year in LA, he had his own work television and had his own movie called Soul Plane. What do you think a plant is?
It's worth noting that Kevin Hart has already portrayed a character involved in a same-sex relationship, at least in a comedic context. In Scary Movie 4, he played CJ, while Anthony Anderson portrayed Mahalik. The film parodied Brokeback Mountain, featuring the two characters in a humorous storyline involving an intimate relationship.
I told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh.
Been one of Kevin Hart's most vocal critics. At various points, Williams has described Hart as an industry plant and questioned the narrative surrounding his rise to fame. Williams argued that Hart's success appeared different from the traditional path many comedians take, claiming that he did not recall the kind of grassroots buzz often associated with breakout comedy stars, such as sold-out club performances, long lines outside venues, or standout moments that built a comedian's reputation over time.
I tried to tell y'all that Kevin Hart was a plant. Cause I keep burying him, he keeps springing back the up. Just like a plant.
Williams later made a more specific allegation regarding Hart's career choices. He claimed that Hart accepted certain roles only after Williams had already pushed to remove or change gay-themed elements from those characters. This was presented as Williams's personal accusation and interpretation of events, not as a verified fact.
I did say that Kevin was a Hollywood puppet, and I want to explain that. Because
Katt Williams didn't stop there. During Kevin Hart's recent Netflix roast, Williams appeared as a surprise guest and once again revisited his long-running criticism of Hart's career. In a comedic jab, he joked that Netflix executives had so much influence over Hart that they could make him do anything. While the remark was delivered as part of a roast and intended to get laughs, some viewers interpreted it as an extension of Williams' broader argument that powerful industry figures have played a significant role in shaping Hart's public image and career decisions.
what you think. I meant that the head of Netflix literally has his whole hand up Kevin's ass and can make him do anything.
The debate doesn't end with whether Kevin Hart is a hard worker. Even many of his critics acknowledge the effort he has put into building his career. The disagreement centers on whether his public evolution reflects genuine personal growth or a carefully managed rebranding strategy. D.L. Hughley has argued that the issue is not Hart expressing support for the LGBTQ+ community. Rather, critics claim that public figures often feel pressured to avoid discussing controversial opinions for fear of being labeled homophobic or transphobic. According to this viewpoint, conversations about representation, stereotypes, and identity have become increasingly difficult to navigate in the entertainment industry. Supporters of Hart, however, would argue that changing one's views over time is not evidence of dishonesty but of personal growth. As a result, the debate continues to divide audiences between those who see Hart's transformation as authentic and those who remain skeptical of his motives.
Dudes and not act like a broad, right?
Right, because he really wears dresses.
Hey, man, I get it. You can love dudes, but you ain't a broad. You're a girl. You're a man.
Right.
So don't. And if you listen, we live in an America that believes that it's more. America accepts the reality that a man is trapped in a woman's body than to believe that all black people are inherently criminal. You can like dudes, or you could like people of the same sex. What you need a purse to do that for? You ain't doing.
Many critics argue that the real question isn't whether Kevin Hart now supports the LGBTQ+ and transgender community, but whether that change is genuine. They point to the contrast between his past comments and his current public statements. Years ago, Hart made jokes and remarks that sparked controversy, while today he presents himself as an ally who has evolved and learned from past mistakes. For some observers, that transformation reflects personal growth. For others, it raises questions about how much influence Hollywood, corporate partnerships, and public relations pressures have on celebrities. They argue that Hart's shift became especially noticeable after the Oscars controversy, when his old tweets resurfaced, and he ultimately lost the hosting opportunity. According to this perspective, the backlash wasn't a wake-up call, but a warning that certain views could damage a celebrity's career. Critics point to Hart's initial refusal to apologize, followed by a public apology and a series of interviews discussing his growth and support for the LGBTQ+ community. Supporters, however, see the situation differently. They argue that people are capable of changing their beliefs over time, and that acknowledging past mistakes should not automatically be viewed as evidence of insincerity. In their view, Hart's willingness to publicly address the controversy demonstrates accountability rather than compliance. The debate ultimately comes down to motive. Did Kevin Hart genuinely evolve? Or did he adapt to changing cultural and professional expectations? That question continues to divide audiences, fellow comedians, and commentators. Whatever the answer may be, the discussion surrounding Hart's transformation remains one of the most debated chapters of his public career. What do you think? Was Hart's shift in perspective a genuine change of heart, a business decision, or some combination of both? Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the next video.